You're listening to Tony Graham here on Binjang 91.5, and it's time for Tech Talk with Matthew Dickerson. Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning, Tony. Great to be chatting to you again. We're well into the new year with technology.
Yes, it's going to be a great year, I think. I think it's been shoved along a little bit by coronavirus in a few departments as well.
Yeah, you are spot on. And I think a few developments have occurred as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in technology this year.
Yeah. Now, they're even getting into the pet market with technology. So our first topic today is, can technology solve the problem of letting the cat out?
Well, technology can solve just about every problem, is my belief. I might be a little bit biased on that, Tony. But the MyQ Pet Portal is a new door that allows you to let your dog or cat in and out without you even being there. So the idea is that you install a whole new door, so it actually comes incorporated with the entire door. And it's got like an elevator opening door, the same as if you're getting on the elevator, the opening doors and that opens at the bottom of it. And it's triggered in a number of different ways. You can, of course, trigger it via your smartphone. What feature or what device would come out now without being able to be triggered by a smartphone? So you can trigger it via your smartphone. You can also have a collar on your particular pet that's Bluetooth enabled that effectively allows the door to automatically open when the pet comes near. Now, there's a minor concern with that, of course, because you might have some ill-intentioned humans hanging around. They watch your dog or cat go in and out. They realise the door's opening by itself and they might want to squeeze it at the same time. So, of course, there's a video attachment. So you can see the video every time the door opens and closes of the pet portal. You can see a video of exactly what happened at the same time. So it's only a small hole, only designed for small animals, but someone that's maybe small in frame or someone that might have a younger child that's small in frame, they might send them through to go and unlock the house for you. So the video comes through at the same time. You can access it remotely. You can have the dog or cat open it remotely. So as we start to get back to work and as more people are going into work rather than staying at home, this might be the sort of option that you need to keep your dog and cat happy at home.
Right. What will they think of next?
That's right. Technology may be solving problems that we didn't even know we had, Tony.
Well, that's always the thing about technology, isn't it? It's always ahead of the game. Now,
Yeah.
with the pandemic, and we were just touching on that, a touchless doorbell might not be a bad idea, I guess. So they've developed something there, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. And we've seen some doorbells that have come out from a number of different manufacturers that when you press the button on the doorbell, it'll contact you, not like a traditional doorbell that just rings a bell inside your home, but it effectively rings your smartphone. So you can be inside the home, you can be another town away or another country away, probably not another country away at the moment, but when we can travel again, you can be another country away and you know that someone's at your front door. But of course, with this current pandemic we've been going through, then people are encouraged not to touch things and people are getting more and more deliveries at their homes. So this particular doorbell, it's put out by a company called alarm.com, allows the doorbell to be activated just when someone comes into the close proximity, the zone, if you like, around your doorbell. It performs the way any of those normal doorbells when you ring and it rings your smartphone, it performs. So effectively you've got all of those features that we've become accustomed to with those modern doorbells, but the activation process is not by touch. The activation process is by standing there. You can actually buy an accessory. You can buy a floor mat or a door mat that sits on the ground that tells someone to stand in this location to ring the doorbell. And most people then might think that the actual mat itself does the triggering, but once you come into that zone, it's the proximity sensor that does the triggering of the doorbell.
Hmm.
So quite a clever idea. I'm not sure the absolute necessity for it because we do know from information that's come out from health authorities around the world that coronavirus is being spread more by airborne particles rather than by on touch surfaces. But it still feels quite nice if you've got a number of things coming through the day, a number of deliveries, a number of people. It's nice the idea of not actually having to touch anything.
Well, sometimes you don't really want to know, I reckon. The anxiety thing, as technology gets more
Yeah.
and more intrusive, it creates anxieties about these kinds of things. I can just imagine you answer the door and using this system, very often it'll be something that sort of worries you somewhat and you're away and you can't do anything about it. So I don't know that it's all that great an idea, but I suppose Ultimately, from a security point of view, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And of course, you've got that footage there of someone turning up.
Yeah.
You've got that video footage recorded. You can see it. It gives you some peace of mind. And I know in the past when people used to travel away a bit, sometimes people felt a little bit uncomfortable when they travelled because they had their home exposed for a couple of weeks while they were travelling and not being able to check on it. Just having that ability to check on it with some cameras gives people somewhat some peace of mind.
Mm. Now, this next little topic I've got for you, Matthew, it's something that I can relate to quite well, and that's receiving a text or sometimes even a phone call saying that I've won a prize from Woolworths.
Yeah, and let's say at the very outset, Tony, this has nothing to do with Woolworths. Woolworths are not doing the wrong thing here. There's been no security breach from Woolworths. This particular scammer or this scamming company has chosen Woolworths as a nice soft target to basically associate themselves with Woolworths to give it some credibility. So people are receiving texts at the moment from a bot, if you like, called Susie. And Susie has told you that because you made a purchase from Woolworths in 2020, and they're pretty safe in saying that you made a purchase from Woolies in 2020 because people have been going to supermarkets. Even if they might normally shop at Coles, there might have been some time during the year they went to Woolworths. So they'd be pretty safe in everyone receiving this text message saying that they made some purchase at Woolies in 2020, and because of that, they were automatically entered into a prize, and they can now pick up their prize. And of course, if they respond to this text message, there it goes down a process where they finally get to the stage where they start asking for your credit card information just to cover the shipping costs of your wonderful prize, of course, Tony,
Yes.
or that they might ask for some further information in terms of your password or other information that might be relevant to you as an individual. One thing that makes this scam seem just that little bit more effective is that it typically uses your name. Now, again, Woolies have been very quick to point out there's been no data breach. They don't have your name on file with your mobile phone number that they start sending text messages out. But it doesn't matter. As long as they've got your phone number and your name, they can pretend that it comes from anywhere. So they can say, hi, Tony, because you shopped at Woolies in 2020, you've won a prize. And you think, oh, wow, it must be legitimate because they got my name right. So it's just that next step that scammers have gone to make it seem even more legitimate than just a random text message you might have received. So Woolies have been very strong saying that there is no prize offer. There is no random prize draw people have been in. If you see this come through, you know it's a scam. And it's not just Woolies. It's Woolies this week, but next week it might be Coles. The week after it might be IGA. So just be very cautious when you receive these random text messages, especially, Tony, for prizes where you haven't entered the draw. And that's the critical thing here. It sounds too good to be true, which means it probably is.
Yeah. I reckon one of the biggest clues with getting phone calls from organisations trying to scam you is they very often will ring you. They might know your first name, they often do. And I always think to myself, now, I've got a voice on the phone here. I don't recognise it. It's calling me by my first name, which I rarely ever use in public. You know, Anthony, but usually they call me Tony. So someone's ringing up
Yep.
and saying, oh, is that you, Anthony? And I think, now hang on, who are you? You know, if I ring somebody up, the first thing I do is identify who I am. It's a matter of courtesy.
Yeah.
That's what you normally
Yep.
do. So if someone rings you up and doesn't tell you who they are, and if they tell you they're from an organisation that's a little bit sus, like the NBN, like I had last week, it's a dead giveaway, really.
Yeah.
So people really ought to be looking for those kinds of unusual cues. So I always ask, if someone's asking for me by name first, the first thing I do is say, hang on, before we even start, don't know who you are, who are you?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Good tactic.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
and I even tell them that it's a little bit rude to ring me up. I don't even know who you are, and you haven't identified yourself.
Yeah.
I even tell them that. So I think that's the way to go. You know, I just say it's not normal protocol. Yeah, it's not phone courtesy to do that. All right.
Yep.
Well, we've been listening to Tech Talk with Matthew Dickerson on Binjang 91.5, and stay tuned later on this afternoon for another session. And in the meantime, it's back to all the great information and our great host,